It Chapter 2 is a horror film and stars James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and Bill Skarsgård. And the film follows the Losers Club reuniting after 27 years to take down Pennywise the Clown once and for all. So yeah, this film is not as good as the first one. I still found this to be entertaining, but there were quite a few choices that were made for the worse. First and foremost, this film did not need to be as long as it was. Clocking in at almost 3 hours, this film likes to waste time. About a good hour of this film could have been cut, and essentially this film pretty much retreads the first one, as the same scenarios play out. Like the first one, each of the characters individually go up against Pennywise, except these were less impactful. With It Chapter 1, I loved that film, and the biggest reason why was because the main characters were children, and these children had fears that they had to conquer, and by the end of that film they had conquered their fears by taking down Pennywise. And that's why, like the book and the miniseries, when it focuses on them as adults, that's when it's not as interesting. When the characters took on Pennywise when they were children, it's more believable. But when the characters are 40 years old, it makes the film less scary. Essentially, this film just didn't feel important. Because the main gist is all the characters reunite to take down Pennywise, and that's pretty much it. And it takes 3 hours to accomplish that. You know what happened in the first film that they accomplished in 2 hours? Each of the characters' problems were established, they all came together because they were dubbed losers, and it was the bond of friendship that made them stick together to take down their fears. But with It Chapter 2, oh, Pennywise is back. Well, gotta take care of him. Another thing that I wasn't huge on was the film was not scary. And while arguably the first film is not as scary, again, the horror felt believable because the main characters were children. Also, the supporting characters this time around weren't really good. Again, referring to the first film, you had multiple characters interacting with the Losers Club. You had the bullies, you had the shit parents, and of course you have Pennywise the Clown. But with It Chapter 2, all you've got is the Losers Club and Pennywise the Clown. Every other character is a non-factor. Even the main bully from the first film who returns in this film has no impact on the story of It Chapter 2. And that's pretty much all the issues I had with the film. And honestly, they're not very major. Again, like I said earlier, my main issue is the choices that were made in this film. But the rest of the film was very entertaining and made up for a lot of the problems I had. Firstly, all the main characters were great. Pennywise is once again played brilliantly by Bill Skarsgård, but for me, the real standout in the movie was Bill Hader. His performance was a constant source of entertainment. And the film, while it could get a little bit corny, it was still enjoyable. And even if it's not as scary as the first film, there were still 1 or 2 moments that made me jump. However, I will say this film went to the well one too many times. It Chapter 2 liked to use a lot of fake outs, where you think the first jump scare is coming and then nothing happens, and then you turn around and there it is. Overall, It Chapter 2 is not as good as the first film, and it's a movie where I don't see myself buying the Blu-ray for it. But for what I got, I still enjoyed it. It was still a fun ride, even if it didn't have to be 3 hours long. The characters were great, the story was interesting, there were a few decent scares, and my only big issues with the film were the choices that were made and the constant retreading of the first film. And I'm gonna give It Chapter 2 an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thank you for watching.